Good morning, grade 6 students, and welcome to another class in English. This is your teacher, Miss Annalisa. Today is day 2 of week 5, 5th of October 2020, Monday. We are in Unit 4, Famous Explorers, Travelers, and Writers, and today's lesson is Lesson 3, Comprehension, Hudson's Voyage on the Dolphin. For your references, your pupil's book on pages 24 and 25 and workbook page 23. These are the objectives. At the end of the lesson, the students should be able to read the new words presented, tell what the story means, and answer the comprehension questions. Let us begin our lesson with the vocabulary. Our first word, voyage. Voyage. It is a long journey involving travel by sea or in space. Example of a sentence: his most memorable experience is his voyage to America. Our next word, seasickness. Seasickness. It is the act of vomiting or the feeling that you will vomit because of the movement of the ship you are traveling in. Example of a sentence: Father's seasickness made him not enjoy his vacation. Next word is hammock. Hammock. It is a type of bed usually used, especially outside, consisting of a net or a strong cloth you tie between two trees or poles so that it swings. Example of a sentence: I like reading a book while lying in the hammock under the sun. Finally, we have cabin. Cabin. It is a private room or compartment on a ship. Example of a sentence: she lays in her cabin comfortably. Open your pupil's book on page 24 and let us now read. Hudson's Voyage on the Dolphin. It was 3 October 1840. James Hudson left England on the SS Dolphin for a voyage around the world. He was a strange passenger. He shared cabin with the captain. In the cabin were many books and boxes. When a cabin boy opened one of the boxes, he was surprised. Inside were dead beetles. James Hudson was a naturalist. He studied plants and animals. He collected spiders and butterflies, as well as beetles and other insects. He was traveling on the Dolphin because he had never been to the tropics, the hottest parts of the world. He hoped to discover new plants and animals. The journey lasted 3 years, but it did not begin well. Hudson was not a good sailor. He had not sailed on a ship before, and he was extremely ill with seasickness. The other sailors thought he was very strange. He did not know how to sleep in a hammock, and after they had visited South America, he kept an octopus as a pet. During the journey, Hudson saw many wonderful things. He walked in the rainforests. There were beautiful colors everywhere. The plants and trees were bright green, and the flowers and butterflies were brilliant blue and orange and red. Hudson picked coconuts and bananas and ate them. The rest of the journey was full of adventure. Hudson rode with cowboys called gauchos in Argentina and sailed on the Pacific Ocean, the world's largest sea. He saw porpoises swimming in the sea and the giant tortoises on the islands. He visited a coral island where the islanders lived on coconuts, turtles, and fish. Finally, the Dolphin sailed home and arrived in England in October 1843. After he had returned, Hudson wrote about this journey and amazed his friends with his strange stories. After reading about Hudson and his voyage, we now come to the activities on the pupil's book, page 25. First activity is to number the pictures in order. Do you still remember what we have read? So, can you put the pictures in order? Okay, let us see. I'm giving you half a minute to write the numbers in each of the picture. All right, students, let us now try to see if your answers are correct. So, the first picture would be, do you have the same number and picture? Let's continue. All right, third one, and the fourth, fifth picture, and the last picture. Okay, children, were you able to get the correct order of the story? If so, you've done a good job. Moving forward, we're still on page 25, activity 2. Think about it. Which is the best title of the story for you? Is it A Long Journey, Hudson's Adventure on the Dolphin, Voyage of the Dolphin, or A Bad Sailor? Whatever you choose from this title, you should be able to give reason. So when we meet in the classroom, we will be voting for which title is the title of the class and what reason have you chosen. Okay, so while waiting for your reasons, let's now go to activity 3, read and find. So from the story that we have read, let us try to find out what is being asked from each of these items. Let's start with the 4 people you find on a ship. Who are those 4 people you found on a ship? Let us see. 4 people you find on a ship are the passenger, captain, cabin boy, and sailor. Did you think of the same answer as mine? I hope so. Let's proceed. Descriptions of a naturalist, the tropics, and the gaucho. Can you find them? All right, let's find out if you have the same answer. The naturalist studies plants and animals. The tropics are the hottest part of the world. Gaucho is a cowboy in Argentina. Did you find it in the story? If you did, it's a good job. Let's now proceed to the last one. Things you find in a forest. Can you find it? Let's see. Plants Trees, flowers, butterflies, coconuts, and bananas are the things you find in a rainforest. We're still on Pupils Book, page 25. This time, activity 4, answer these questions. Why was Hudson on the Dolphin? So based on the story that we have read, what do you think is the answer? Okay. Hudson was on the Dolphin because he had never been to the tropics and he hoped to discover new plants and animals. Next, when did he get a pet octopus? Let's see if you still remember the story and the details of it. He got a pet octopus after he had visited South America. Then we have, why was he ill? He was ill because he was not a good sailor and he was seasick. After that, what did Hudson see? In the sea, in Argentina, on a coral island. Okay. Hudson saw giant porpoises in sea, gauchos in Argentina, and islanders who lived on coconuts, turtles, and fish on a coral island. Finally, describe the Pacific Ocean. The Pacific Ocean is the world's largest sea. All right, children, we now go to your workbook on page 23, and this is activity 1. What would interest a naturalist? Remember that a naturalist, based on the story that we've read, is someone who studies plants and animals. So in this activity, we are to find the 13 words. We need to look across and down. So there is already a word, beetle, which is part of the 13 words. So let us now move on to the others. So are you ready? So look across and look down. I'm giving you 1 minute to work on this. Okay, let us see if you were able to get the rest of the words. All right, so here are the words now. First, we have purpose. So you have there purpose to be written, number 1. Next, we also have plants. So write down plants there. Next, butterfly. Then we have there trees. There you put trees. Then we have coral, put coral. And then we have dolphin. Then fish over there. So we write it there. Next, octopus. So you put there octopus. And then you have insects. And you have there the beetle, which we have already mentioned. We have the tortoise. So So you put there the tortoise. And then we have the turtle. So you write there the turtle. And finally we have the rainforest. So were you able to get all of the 13 words? Congratulations if you did it. Let's now move on to the final activity for today's lesson. All right, students, we are now on page 23 of your workbook, and this is now the final activity. Activity 2, which one is different? We need to circle the add one out. So after choosing or encircling which is the different, we are going to explain why the words are different afterwards. Okay, so let's move on. Number 1, which is different here? Tortoise, turtle, purpose, or octopus? If you've answered tortoise, you got it correctly. What about in the second one? Butterfly, beetle, parrot, and dolphin. Which is different? If you've answered dolphin, good. Third one, sailor, cowboy, captain, and cabin boy. So which is different? If you've answered cowboy, you got it right. And the fourth one, we have huge, giant, enormous, and tiny. Which one is different? If you say tiny, good job. And the fifth one, coral, banana, coconut, and fig. Which do you think is different? If you say coral, then that's right. And the last one, raft, hammock, canoe, or yacht. Which is different? Of course, if you've answered hammock, correct. Now let us explain why the words are different. Tortoise, why is it different? Have you thought of the reason? Okay. Tortoise can't swim and the others swim. Okay. Now, what about in number 2? Why dolphin? Dolphin because dolphin can't fly. In the third one, why cowboy? Cowboy is different because cowboy is not on the ship. Sailor, captain, and cabin boy are on the ship, remember? Okay, let's move on to the fourth one. Why tiny? You have huge, giant, enormous. Okay, tiny because it is the opposite of big. Okay, and fifth one, which is different? Yes, it is coral because coral can't be eaten, unlike banana, coconut, and fig. And lastly, hammock. Why is it different? It's different because hammock can't go on water. Okay, children, thank you very much for listening to today's lesson. I hope to see you again in our class or have the lesson with you online. This has been Miss Annalisa saying thank you and keep safe, everyone. Bye.